contest for Saturday Night Hoops. It's great to have your company. Round 3 in the Hungry Jacks NBL, the Bullets and the Kings doing battle. I'm Jack Heverin, Damon Lowry, the man responsible for the most famous free throw in NBL history. And of course, the GOAT, Andrew Gay, has joined me in commentary tonight. Gentlemen, welcome to both of you. Really good opportunity here for the Bullets, Drew, in particular, to find that defensive identity they've been talking about.
Well, that's right. They talk about their offense, and there's not, when you just look at the stats, it's pretty impressive. 94 points a game, shooting it at almost 49%. So offensively, they're ticking the box. Need to take care of the basketball, though. You know, you can be up high on the turnover count because they're, believe it or not, good turnovers and bad turnovers. They've had too many bad turnovers that leave them into tough situations. But Josh Bannon coming back is going to be huge, I think, for the Brisbane Bullets. Love what he brought to the table with them. Can shoot the 3-ball, and he is an offensive threat from all over the floor. So, Damon, he's a high-quality player that they get.
I thought he was going to jump in last game, but they held him off for one more. So now Josh is key to this team. They need some more offensive productivity, especially in the front court. So hopefully Josh can come in there and pick up where he left off.
For those who are watching the pregame, we spoke about Rocco Zikarsky. Drew, do they have a look at it tonight at some point and see what Harrison and Zikarsky next to each other could be like?
I think so. Like Damon mentioned a little earlier, you look at the numbers of Rocco and they're pretty modest, an improvement just with him. More minutes in that round 2 contest. But I agree with Damon. Sometimes you've got to go out there, particularly when you're not getting the wins, and you say, well, we're worried about our defense. Hell, they're not playing any defense anyway. There's no defense here. Here, no D. So you might as well have a look at that combination, because who knows, it might present something new.
That man on screen, Brian Goorjian, has carved a legacy in the NBL as being a defensive-minded coach, Damon Lowry. But has he worked out his best combinations and his best rotations yet?
No, he hasn't, but he's not far off. He's not far off, I gotta admit. What I like, he actually got Kelly LePepe in the starting 5. You would say Kelly obviously isn't the player that Cam Oliver is, but he's good for that balance. It's good to have somebody come off the bench that's got some productivity straight away, and you need role players in your starting 5.
And they've got a problem when Jalen Adams isn't on the floor. They are minus 27 so far this year when that man isn't there.
Now, that plus-minus thing, I'm not always on board with that one, but to Brian's point, when Jalen does go off the floor, he's kind of a ball-dominant guard. They got to almost play some point guard out of Xavier Cooks. Let him initiate some offense a little bit. Sean Bruce is a defender. Sean's a big-time player, a champion. They got enough there, so I'm not going to read too much into that.
Special night for the Brisbane Bullets, as we mentioned, back at Boondall for the first time in a long time. Derek Rucker knows this venue very, very well. Oh, yeah. Averaged a lazy 31.8 playing inside that arena. Ooh. And alongside him is Ariana Prather. Welcome to both of you.
Man, thanks for having us, guys. And I have to say, you should be jealous. It is absolutely electric here in the Brisbane Entertainment Center. It's absolutely a packed house. The flames are flying everywhere. It's getting a little hot in here. How do you feel about tonight's matchup?
Well, we got all the big names in here. Loggins. We got Aaron Baines in the house. We got Andrew Bogut here. This crowd is up on its feet. The Entertainment Center is hyped. This is a big-time game. Brisbane beats Sydney, baby.
Man, and D-Ruck, I didn't even get to ask you, what's your prediction for tonight? Who do you think's going to pull this off?
I got Sydney winning this one by 11.
Wow, my bold prediction is Brisbane's going to get their win. They're going to get this win at home. They're going to get this win at home. Let's see.
Ariana Prather, Derek Rucker, great to have them with us tonight. Predictions from both of you as we take a look at the Bullets starting lineup.
I'm looking at Kendra Cook from Baltimore, same place as another famous Brisbane Bullet, Leroy Loggins. James Bateman, I'm expecting a big bounce-back game from him. He hasn't had one yet this season. Deng Adele, obviously Terrell Harrison, and Casey Prather. So I got the Bullets losing by at least 15.
Andrew Gaze, the Sydney Kings starting lineup. Kelly LePepe out there again.
Yeah, it is, and it's one of those ones, you know, you never want to question arguably the greatest coach this has ever seen, but having Cam Oliver coming off the bench is a luxury that not too many teams have, but it's they're deep, you know, and then sometimes you might start, but you may not necessarily play starter minutes. But I'm kind of sneaking suspicion the Bullets might be able to cause an upset.
It was their home from 1986 to 1997, and the home of a championship for Brisbane as well. And they are back tonight. Saturday Night Hoops coming at you in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Thanks so much for being with us. Wild one from Bull Qual to start with. LePepe, little fall away. Brisbane on the board first, Sydney on the board first.
Yeah, Pepe in the right place at the right time. One of the hardest shots to rebound is an air ball, and just falls in his hands.
Terrell Harrison's made such a good start to the season. Swings to Prater! Casey Prater with authority!
Come on, Casey! What year is this?
Yes, that's what I meant to say. Turning back the clock, and that was an explosive start by Casey. Well, and he needs a lift. Only shooting it at 28% from the field, and that'll do his confidence the world of good.
A dynamic start for the Brisbane Bullets, although that won't help their cause. Adams throws that away. We'll get the clock fixed. James Bateman, Damon.
Yes.
Let's have a look at the Amy replay first.
Look at Ariana's husband. Oof, take that with you.
Wow. That's Perth Wildcats, Casey Prater. Bang. Nice.
This is the athlete, this is the Casey Prater that Justin Schuler's hoping can not always get back to what he used to be, but at least 75% of what he used to be would be perfect.
A lot of it's got to do with staying healthy. Gets a run of good luck.
Keandre Cook is fouled. So James Bateman, Damon, you've been in this position before. You come over to the NBL as an import, and there's some expectation and things just aren't clicking for you to start the season. What can he do tonight that's basic and simple to get himself in the game?
Play defense. Do the little things. Your offensive game will come. Everybody knows that the spotlight is always on the imports, and you don't want to go putting too much pressure on yourself. Some people come out and say, well, just be real aggressive. I say focus on the defense, let the game come to you. As Casey Prater gets another deuce.
And also, maybe have a little bit of system to get you involved on the offensive end. Designated plays where we're expecting him to finish.
Pepe puts the ball on the floor, finds a path to the basket. It's an offensive foul. The bucket won't count. Ariana Prater, courtside.
Look at my baby doing his thing, guys. I'm joking. It's been definitely a tough offseason. You know, he was out for the last 2 years with a knee injury, so he actually came early. We came in March, like a couple months before the team was required to be here, just so he could get that preseason training in. And I think you guys hit that nail on the head. As long as he can just stay healthy this season and provide a solid 10-15, I think the team will be good to go.
Well, he's bouncy to start Saturday night hoops. Wide open look. That time for Degadell. Cooks explores, has options all over the floor. One of them, Bull Qual, and that rattles out.
It was a good shot, though, and that's what I'm talking about, Jack, as far as point guard play. Okay, you got Jalen Adams, MVP of the league, but Xavier Cooks can play the point a la Draymond Green in transition. Gets a rebound, goes coast to coast, gets Bull Qual a wide open shot. We'll see lots more of that for this game.
And what about the willingness to let the three ball fly? League that, no, it's early days, small sample size, but 38 three-point field goal attempts per game so far for the Sydney Kings. And you and I played against the Southeast Melbourne Magic Brian Goorjian teams. Oh, they might have had 6 or 8 on some games.
Long rebound for Bateman. And Degadell will get their wires crossed.
See, that's something right there with James Bateman. Okay, he's on one page, Degadell's on another page. That's his turnover. He gets that one. The play before it, things are already not getting off to a good start. Like, I want you guys here, like, run a nice set for him, something he knows that he can prepare himself for, because he needs an easy bucket to get himself into this game.
Adams denied by Harrison.
This is a beautiful venue to play and have the opportunity to play there. Different configuration when we used to play there in Derek, but it's still a fun place to play, can get loud.
You certainly seem to enjoy yourself playing at Boondle. Wow. Xavier Cooks.
Hey.
Three ball. That's a rare sighting.
And you know what? That stroke looks a lot better than it did last season. Zave adds that to his game. And I'm telling you, I don't know what you do with him now.
He swings to Tui. Back-to-back threes for Sydney.
Defensive transition, and I know that Brisbane, you want to get out and explore your options early like this one, but that's a no-pass offense, and you just reeled off a couple of threes, make possibly more.
Timeout.
Feed for Corks. Timeout, Brisbane. In the blink of an eye, the Kings put on 8 points and establish an early lead.
And I reckon Justin Schuller here, he's going to be talking about tempo. This is a team that wants to get it up. They're prepared to let it fly from the three-point line. They've had a couple of threes. Slow it down. Get into your half-court sets. Move the ball side to side. Make them play a little defense and just try and change the tempo. Let's listen in to Justin.
Intensity's great. Bulls on the point guard. It's four-man carry. Find the rubs now. Change sides. We open that thing up real early. We haven't had a post touch. We have one, and we miss the opportunity to see the diver. Go back to it. Find your snap again. Pump it in on this next one. We play from there. But right now, we're letting our offense dictate the energy on the D. We know they're going to make some shots. Got to make it contested, though. More talk on the big-to-big interaction. All right, make a bite. Early hustle. Pour that thing out. Stop score. That's what we need right here. Execution on cross snap.
And this is what I mean about actually what are you going to do on the offensive end, right? So you got to come down and know where you're going as we look at the big banger down there. But the Brisbane Bullets offense right now, it looks terminal. Anybody come down, take a shot. Like Justin Schuller said, we had one post touch. Well, the Kings doubled that one post touch. Somebody else now got to cut off of that, so give Tyrell an option to pass it to. If not, Tyrell's going to get frustrated. He's not going to rebound, and all of a sudden, you're going to be in a track meet with a team you don't want to run track with.
Still looks very, very fit, Aaron Baines. Taking it all in tonight. As Mitch Norton checks in. Some leadership as much as anything else. And he doesn't get that to go. And Kings have got such a willingness to explore early in the shot clock, and that time, Alex Tui banks it home. A late-night transaction.
Sheesh, Tui's draft.
15-4.
It is, and good looks. They've already had 10 field goal attempts, only 5 to the Bullets because they got the 4 turnovers, and that's what we were talking about before, the type of turnovers, and makes it hard on your defensive transition when they're prepared to pull up from threes, and they're in this type of form.
Derek Rucker courtside.
Well, we've seen Cairns be really good at home, playing off of a lot of emotion, and that was always going to be the danger for Sydney coming to Brisbane. They get a charged-up Brisbane team as Nordo knocks down a 3. But Sydney have done a good job in capitalizing on Brisbane's sloppiness on the offensive end and converting, and that's why they have this 8-point lead early.
A little settler, perhaps, for the Bullets, that Mitch Norton 3.
They get the stop, but even then, it's a very reactive defense. You know, they guarded on the perimeter. If you compare to this to what we saw last night with Melbourne United and the way in which they're playing, or even the Sydney Kings, is that inside-outside, and Justin Schuller would be saying, see, boys, pay attention. This is what we were talking about in the last time out. Big fella down low, double team, kick out, and we're playing a game of horse. Just whether or not you can make or miss it.
It's not that complicated, is it true?
You make it sound so simple.
Well, it's not that simple, but it is reassuring from a coach's standpoint when the thing you just talk about, you come out and execute, and you get an easy bucket.
Cook's been a shining light to start the season for Brisbane. Banks that one home, averaging 21 points a game in his first 2.
Now, Kendrick's been fine. Kendrick's been fine. It's the rest of the guys got to get scoring for multiple opportunities. Is Josh Bannon in transition?
Second look for the Bullets. They've scored off their last 2 trips down the floor.
Cam Oliver and Quad Noe checks in. Oh, we got some Rocco music. All right, we got 4.5 minutes of 7'3". I don't know how many inches that is. It's a lot of them. Let's see how he's used, though, Jack. This is what I'm saying. Don't just put him on the floor and then put him way out here. We just see how it's going to unfold.
Norton will have to shoot. 2 on the shot clock. Rebound by Cam Oliver. 15 and 7 in 21 minutes last Sunday against Illawarra. He's made such a good start to this season in his return to the Hungry Jacks NBL. Here he is in the mid-range.
Yeah, he looks really engaged and at peace. His body language now, and compared to a unfortunate second season blues with the Cairns Taipans for the team, and just looks a lot more comfortable.
Late clock again for the Bullets. Cook with a hand in the face. Low board by Zakarski. He draws the foul.
Sydney forces Brisbane into a very bad shot late in the shot clock. Lucky they got a 7'3" guy that can go get an offensive rebound and then draw a foul. Offensive execution has got to be at a premium because the Sydney Kings are going to get out and run. Brian's got that much depth. You just can't come down and play offense in the first 5 to 8 seconds and hope for the best.
Well, the first couple of games, rebounding has not been a strength for the Brisbane Bullets, so encouraging signs on that last possession.
They scored the last 7, Brisbane, out of the timeout.
Good response.
First night back at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. Big night for this organisation, and Mitch Norton's given them some real punch. Prather trying to back in on Galloway. Such a good defender. Prather got it back. That's a 2-point game.
Stay with the play. Everybody out here on the Kings team right now, everybody can switch pretty much 1 to 5, with the exception of maybe Bruce on the Rocco. But everybody else out there has got some legitimate size. The Isaiah Liafa's a strong guard. I know you want to find mismatches, but you also want to be careful that you don't go too terminal.
And the other factor at the moment is that Jalen Adams is not on the floor and hasn't been on the floor in this run.
Well, not just him. Brian's made some stubs, getting some guys in, and there's a different look about the way they're going at both ends of the floor.
Bannon got to his left hand. Zakarski puts it back in, it jumps out late. And Galloway had a foot on the line. And Brian Goorjian can sense the urgency. His #1 man's coming back.
See, coaches this era, Drewy, a guard doesn't play 10 minutes a quarter. Those days are over with unless your name is Bryce Cotton. So what they do is they give you 4.5 minutes to start the game, rest you for 2, then bring you on to finish the quarter, and you're probably in the bonus, so Jalen will probably get himself to the free throw line. But I would just like to see the old school ways come back a little bit and let the guard just play a whole quarter.
Well, when it's your leader and it's setting the tempo and gets those relationships with other players, they're really important. But you're right, it's the nature of the game these days, and the energy that they're asking the players to play at, they feel like that they need to get a little more rest than back in the day.
Just out of curiosity, I'm going to Derek Rucker. Would you prefer to start the whole quarter and then start on the bench in the second, or do this rotation thing in and out in the first quarter?
Well, as Andrew said, I think with the increased expenditure of energy, I mean, I got to go with what he said, where you get back in bonus time right now, but maybe just shorten up that spell that Jalen had just now. Maybe do something like 4, 2, and 4. You know, I'm not sure that the rest is required for that extended amount of time.
This is an 11-0 run now for the Brisbane Bullets, who were staring down the barrels of being blown off the court in this first quarter. Scores are tied now at 15. Little push from Adams doesn't go.
Now that's what teams are going to try to do with Rocco on the floor. They're going to put him in the ball screen. Rocco's playing a drop defense right then, and Jalen could have easily have made that bucket, but he didn't. And Rocco comes up with the board.
The Bullets to take the lead. This trip down the floor. A jumper from Bannon puts Brisbane in front.
Good play. Another post touch gets rewarded.
Cooks is fouled and the points will count.
Exquisite ball play, ball screen. We got some guards in this league. Derek Walton Jr. comes to mind, PJC, Jalen Adams, obviously. When these guys get pick and roll situations, if your defense isn't rock solid, if your rules isn't right, they'll make you pay.
Yeah, well, I'm not sure what's going on here, but it looked like Adams was... checking out of the game. And Tyler Robinson gets his first
NBL debut.
It's in the NBL.
DMPs to start the season for Tyler Robertson. Great to see him out there, very talented young man. 23-year-old out of Melbourne originally.
I can only think, you know, he's playing with those fouls, the two fouls to Jalen Adams, was it from Jay? So I think that's the driving explanation as to why. But given the run that they were on, he felt it necessary to bring him back. And once they get back in front, try and protect those fouls.
White, Bateman, Adele, Zakarski and Bannon out there for Brisbane. Oliver, Robertson, Liafa, Galloway, Cooks for the Kings. And Isaiah Liafa has had a tough start to this season. Unsuccessful that time.
He's 0 of 12. He hasn't made one yet.
Not since the blitz.
Adele swings to Isaac White.
So Sydney's lineup, they're double teaming whoever is in the post. That's just their rule. And then they're going to make you kick it out and they're just going to scramble.
Robertson no good. Cooks with the offensive rebound.
Ooh, Rocco gets called for a goal king because it came off the board, but it actually looked like it got below the rim when Rocco hit it.
Yeah, he hit the backboard. Once it hits the rim, it's... He didn't touch the rim yet.
That's true, but I don't think it hit the rim before Rocco got it.
Let's see what Amy's got to say. Is Amy out there? With a Hungry Jacks replay right here. Tyler flips it up. Backboard, then block.
Below the rim, though.
Yeah, but it's just in the rule book, Drew.
That ball was below the rim, but also you're seeing why Xavier Cooks is so effective. You don't have to run offense for him. Already he's got 12 points, and he's a dominant player on the floor.
Yes, he is.
He's perfect, 5 of 5, including that splashing down a 3-ball.
Wind the shot clock down here, the Kings. One meaningful possession to finish off, and Tyler Robertson with his first NBL points.
A Warren Dyke Jr., if I'm not mistaken, then transferred over to Dandenong Rangers. But if you don't know Tyler Robertson's game, just know this dude does not have any fear and can score from multiple ways.
Bateman has that rattle out. It's been the story of his season so far. A quarter of runs, and after one, it's Sydney who lead 22-17 over the Brisbane Bullets. Saturday Night Hoops back at Boot.
Brisbane, I love your energy so far. We've got to go to another level in this second quarter. Leroy Loggins is in the house. Can we get some noise for Leroy?
Thanks for being with us on Saturday Night Hoops. It's quarter time at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre, and this was the highlight of the first quarter. Casey Prather flying like we know and love when he's up in the air like that. He flushed that with authority, but at quarter time at Sydney, who lead 22-17, Andrew Bogut taking in Saturday Night Hoops at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. Damon Lowry, Andrew Gaze in commentary.
Oh, Boondle, we're gonna get Leroy at some stage, and when you do get him, somebody just need to give him a texter, a Sharpie, just say, get out there and just write your name on that floor. And Xavier Cooks goes 6 for 6.
He's absolutely cutting them apart. 14 points for Cooks. And Harrison now with the turnover. Ariana Prather's courtside.
That's right, Coach Gorge in that huddle during the end of the quarter, just telling his team to pay attention to their tempo offensively, take their time on that pick and roll, and really see what's the best read every single time down the court. And then, of course, the leader, Xavier Cooks, telling his team that they need to crash the boards and do better on the rebounding stat.
Nicely done, Ariana. This is a very important 3 or 4 minutes for the Brisbane Bullets here, Drew. It just feels like the Kings have really started to get the game on their terms.
Yeah, particularly when you see the great work they did after digging themselves a huge hole to start the game. They fought their way through it. Now, back to square one. And you don't want to keep having to play catch-up, and the ease at which Sydney have been able to score 11 of 21 from the field, 52%. Almost another turnover. 7 turnovers to the Brisbane Bullets.
Not good.
You can't, it's very, very difficult to, up against a high-quality team like Sydney, to remain competitive when you're giving them so many opportunities.
And Bateman yet to score. Cook turns the corner. Good look. Goes unrewarded. Another rebound for Xavier Cooks. He's got 3 of them, 2 assists, 14 points, and he's plus 18 to Cam Oliver. What athleticism.
Great pass by Jalen Adams. I mean, just this middle ball screen, which every team does it, and it's hard to find a defensive, like, are you gonna switch this ball screen? You're gonna play drops, which I would not be doing, as Casey Prather. Oh.
Rebounded by Bateman.
Yeah, I think you've got to meet him at the source. Biggs, you've got to get a whole lot higher.
Look at that pass. Good Lord.
Paul Quall with his first points of the night. Alarm bells ringing for the Bullets.
Good Lord, in transition is just their nightmare. Xavier Cooks in transition, he can pass it. This ball screen right here, so Terrell Harrison, you're in the drop defense, but yet your man still got behind you. Give up an easy bucket. Is it a possibility, Drew? Show and recover maybe on the ball screen?
Well, even just stay on the ball with Adams.
Switch.
He's slicing and dicing, and you just got to meet a little higher.
Let's get to Derek Rucker, who has a legend of the NBL alongside him.
Leroy, welcome. How good does it feel to be back in Brisbane Entertainment Center? Did you get the same feeling I got when you walked in here tonight?
Always driving to the entertainment center. I'm always got butterflies in my stomach, man. And I feel like I'm playing tonight, but unfortunately.
Say hello to Andrew Gaze. He's in the commentary position down in Melbourne. Leroy, I've got you listed as #1 in all-time history. I've got Gaze at #2. How do you feel about that one?
No comments, man. All respect to the brother. Andrew's a great player, man. Great guy, great family, man. What can I say, mate?
How do you like this Bullets team? Right now, they're down 14 early. What do you make of their potential in this NBL25?
Well, I guess the jury's out. You know, being 0-2, you know, there has to be some adjustments on their behalf, because if we go 0-3, look out, Houston, we got a problem.
Well, Leroy, great talking to you. You're an all-time legend. I'm so lucky to have you as a teammate. Leroy Loggins.
3-time MVP of this league, over 500 games, a certifiable bucket.
Certified from Baltimore, Maryland. Now that's my GOAT. Now Leroy with the statue out the front, just paying respect.
couldn't help but notice when Ruck said that he had him at #1 and Drew at #2. Leroy didn't disagree, did he?
He didn't disagree. He got too much respect.
I agree with Derek as well. He was just phenomenal during that period of time. He's a great inspiration for me. I got to play alongside him in the '92 Olympics, and what a great fella he is.
Brisbane are ice cold.
No one loved Lee. Here's the thing. I always felt a little... The old man, Lindsay, he loved... Sometimes I felt he loved Leroy more than he loved me. Such was the respect that Linz had for Leroy.
Go back, coach, in on the sideline.
Xavier Cooks. Little slip here on some perspiration.
The Tangerine logo is the only person, object that can stop Zave at the moment.
16-0 run for the Sydney Kings here. Derek Rucker, what's going on?
Well, right now, Brisbane have just really succumbed to this defensive pressure by the Kings that's forcing them to just turn this ball over, and Adams makes his way to the lane again. And Andrew, we know how Brian Goorjian teams bounce back after losses, and Brisbane's catching it right now.
It is, and again, it's Tyler Adams coming, Jalen Adams coming off that on-ball screen and just doing what he wants. You've got to maybe have a look at some other options, even blitzing him. Just make someone else beat you right now, because he is just orchestrating out here either for himself or he's dishing off. So it's
I don't get it. I don't get it. I mean, I'm sitting over here as a man who's 56. I'm in the third quarter of life, Jack, and I feel like I can run a ball screen. I feel like I can get into the key and get a bucket. That's how they making me feel, and I shouldn't be able to feel that way.
Justin Shaw looking on with not a lot of answers. Aaron Baines taking it all in.
Who's that giant next to Baines? He's going about 6'10" himself.
Big man. Probably only hangs out with tall people. It's probably a rule that he has. Prater into the paint.
Bucket.
First bucket since the score was 17-15.
Just to stop the bleeding a little bit.
Cooks out to ball qual. Knocked down one from that spot. Not that time, though. Kings 4 of 10 from outside. Swift hands from Tui.
good foul by Norton there, just to stop the transition, take some pace out of the game and get a side ball situation.
6:41 before halftime. Ariana Prather courtside.
Look, guys, I feel like I, too, myself, could lace them up and get out there and get a bucket if need be. So, listen, I feel you on that one, but Coach Schuler before the game was telling me that he's not worried about the team offensively, and that's why I kind of had to look at him and say, I don't know about that one, because the last few games they've seemed a little bit shaky. At some point in time, someone has to want it and just go attack the rim. When in doubt, attack the rim and try to get fouled or get something going.
Ariana, what's the protocol for us over here commentating again? You know, your husband's out there. I mean, this is history being made right now. We don't want to say the wrong thing, but what? Any advice for us?
No, not at all. Listen, I don't take it easy on him. Y'all don't have to take it easy on him. He hates hearing my voice after the games, and he's like, baby, let's just leave basketball in the gym. But I'm like, look, you got to get it together, babe. You got to get it together.
Counter, Cook fires away. Jalen Adams has this ball on a string tonight, just doing whatever he wants. Pass is a little risky for Noy, and there's Mitch Norton.
Hustle.
Great hustle play. Prather upstairs.
Good hustle, Mitch Norton. Got a little sloppy with the ball there, Jalen. Sometimes he can get a little casual.
The Sydney Kings call a timeout, and Brian Goorjian seen a couple of things that he wants to nip in the bud pretty quickly.
Well, he doesn't want to give it up like they did, that early advantage they had, and there's signs of that creeping back in. Still got a comfortable situation by 12, and we'll take a listen to Brian, but these are the sort, you need a few more cheapies, and Schuler was talking about it. Let's listen into Gorge.
Do it is go into a handoff, don't get it back, and call guys out. We've been flowing. So the ball comes up the floor. I don't have anything into a dribble handoff, back to the middle, split game or pick and roll. The defense now. The defense. We got to keep defending and rebounding. Let's go, hey. Let's go a dive crack. If you don't have a shot, flip it back, and we're in the pick and roll. Go.
33-21, 5 minutes 50 remaining in this Tangerine timeout, and it just keeps coming tomorrow. Melbourne and Cairns first up. Andrew Gaze will be there at John Cain Arena for that one. The Taipans have had an incredible record against Melbourne in recent times.
They have, and that'll be exciting, followed by, well, can the Wildcats bounce back after, it was an embarrassing display last night. Their fans would have been a little upset. A rematch of that semi-final series last season. And you look at this Sydney lineup they have on the floor and why it can be so effective. Defensively, you can switch everything with this lineup.
Pepe tees one up from the corner. You wouldn't think a guy that size could get the ball over his head with his arms, but Kelly actually can shoot the ball. I had him in the NITP under 18s back in the day, and he can shoot it.
It's the feed inside for Zakarsky. Double figure lead for Sydney. Adams can't add to that. That is not something you see every day.
You wonder when Gordon calls the timeout, and then he says, let's do something, and then he looks out there and it doesn't happen. You just go, man. You want to trust your team, but at the same time, sometimes you give them too much rope, Drew, and they want to be a cowboy.
Well, it's the way he's playing this year. It's a lot of 5 out, read and react, concepts, you know, 2-on-2 side, 3-on-3 side, how you playing in the middle, and everyone's got a license to drive it. Sometimes it, you know, they do a good job of getting it into Jalen Adams' hands, but everyone's got a license to do that, and why wouldn't you? I mean, you've got a bigger guy on you and trying to guard the littles out in the wing. Penetration becomes an invitation.
4 points now for Kelly LePepe. Derek Rucker.
Guys, Deng Adel was outstanding in the preseason, and he's someone who's been really quiet early on as he tries to get to work here on Leafa. But my concerns are raised over his productivity in these first 3 games. I hope he's just not a preseason guy and just kind of shies away from the contest when we flip these bright lights on.
Well, he's 11 points a game, D. 50% from the field, 75% from the three-point line. Hasn't had a lot of attempts, playing 26 minutes. So the raw numbers aren't terrible, but I think the expectation is a little higher than that. But sometimes, Derek, he doesn't seem involved.
Well, Andrew, he was getting 18, 20 points a game in the preseason, and it looked like he was unstoppable off the bounce on the wing. But I agree, sometimes when you really get into the regular season, other teams ramp up their energy and their scouting. As LePepe finally drills one from 3. And I just think Adele is going to be a key piece in this Brisbane offensive firepower, but he hasn't gotten it going.
Bannon, first game of the season tonight. Relocates for 3.
They just can't score. It is almost impossible to win games of basketball in this league when you're shooting at 26%, and that's what the Brisbane Bullets are doing right now. You've got to give some credit, a lot of credit to the Sydney Kings and their defense, but at this level, they're missing shots you've got to make more of.
Great feed from White.
Good penetration by Isaac. You're right, Drew. I would like to see some sets being run. I mean, I know you got your motion, your actions, and all that kind of stuff, but to be methodical as we look at the Amy replay right here. Galloway puts on the floor and kicks it out to my man. Belen Boomer Jr. can do a little bit of everything, Kelly, but yeah.
He was a man-child when he was young, too.
Under 14s, under 16s, look the same.
Playing against my son in the juniors and going and watching him, I'm thinking, hang on a second. This guy looks like he's in the wrong division.
38-23 in the Tangerine timeout. Speaking of Kelly LePepe, Ariana caught up with him pre-game.
action first. So how are you liking the NBL so far?
I'm liking it a lot. I'm still getting accustomed to it, like offensively and stuff like that, but defensively with the team, it's been good, and just the atmosphere, the courts, the stadiums, the fans, yeah, I'm enjoying it.
You're playing under a legendary coach, some would say. I mean, how has it been playing for him?
I'm blessed to be able to play for Gores. It's awesome. Like everything during practice, he always has such great things to say, and watching film and just the stuff he says, you're always learning, and I'm blessed to be able to play for him.
Well, your team is definitely stacked, so many great players. Is there anyone in particular that you've been leaning on as sort of like a mentor or taking you under your wing?
I'll say Xavier Cooks. He's like kind of got me under his wing, and like he's helping me like in practice after games and stuff, and just him being there, being able to chat to him, it's been awesome. So, yeah.
Last question. Anything that you want to be known as the NBL? What type of player do you want to be known as in the NBL?
Just a beast, to be honest. Like I want to be, an enforcer. I want to be able to be like a two-way player, defense and offense. So yeah, just a beast, to be honest. Yeah.
A beast. All right. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, thank you.
Kelly LePepe. He wants to be a beast, Damon.
Yeah, already done. Mission accomplished.
He's the biggest beast in this jungle at the moment. Galloway took it to the rack. Good challenge from Bateman.
Drury, this has got a little bit of an Albert Park get up and down Friday afternoon feel to it, don't it?
Well, it is because of the turnovers and everyone attacking the rim in transition.
13. I don't know on the foul. I don't know.
In a normal context of play, you would think 38 points to hold the City Kings at 38 points with just under 3 minutes to go. You'd be happy with that defense. But you can't generate any scoreboard pressure. Shooting at 28%, so it's just like this 15-point lead feels like it's a 30-point lead.
Yeah, 1 of 9 from the three-point line, 9 of 32 overall. And in transition, the Sydney Kings, because it's just that 5-out structure, they're really good at running lanes and knowing the spacing on the floor, and they can get to their actions almost immediately, and they're in that attack mode very early. Puts a lot of pressure on your D-trans.
16 first half points for Xavier Cooks. A perfect 6 of 6 from the field. The Bullets are just hanging in right now, and only just. Strong rebound by Bairstow. Shot clock rolls down to 7. Bateman stripped of it by Liafa. Here goes Galloway.
Goodness me. Bateman can't turn a trick, and then in transition, the turnover leads to a Jalen Galloway dunk. Is just, this is getting real ugly.
Jack, you might have to start getting to the record books about halftime scores for the Brisbane Bullets, because we're getting into that territory. Only 23 in 18 points. And look at the athleticism. One bounce and tucks it in with 2 hands. Got to find a way. Also, we're talking about getting players involved. Cook's been their guy. He's been the guy that stood out, 21 points a game. He's only had 4 shots, 1 of 4 from the field, 2 points.
And this is a game that Brian can actually get everybody on the floor and get everybody's minutes up. Because this is turned into a training run. Jalen Galloway is only averaging 9 minutes a game. That's how spoiled Brian is with this talent on his team. But in a game like this, it looks like it's going to get out of hand. Everybody can get around the 15-minute mark, feel like they're really a part of it.
Justin Schuler,
Well, I don't think we're
pretty frustrated with the behaviour warning there.
Not sure we're quite there yet, Damon, but
We're tracking.
we're on track.
Final 2 minutes of the first half. They have barely been able to stop Xavier Cooks. They get a little lucky that time. Harrison forces his way in. Bairstow have been in there for a while. They defer back to Cook.
I don't know what this is. I don't know what all this is. This is just too hard. All right.
Yeah.
Can D-Mac check in?
that was not pretty. And Alpha doesn't get that to go.
Yeah, it's in his head. He's a way better shooter, as we've seen throughout his career, than what he's dished up at the start of this season.
0 of 13 now. Look at those hands from Xavier Cooks.
It's 11 turnovers.
He gives it up to Robertson. Wide open look, and Tyler Robertson steps into it.
Well, he's a bucket. He was throughout his college career. And it's not going to wow you with any great athleticism, but high basketball IQ. And as you can see, he can knock it down from the three-point line.
Like, it's one thing to be offensively challenged. Okay, Brisbane's offensively challenged right now. The imports it down this game, I get it. But there is no excuse on defense to jog back and then give up a one-pass wide-open triple. So, like Justin Schuller said in timeout, the offense is affecting their defense, and they have played themselves into an almighty funk. So it needs to be some furniture moving at halftime in that locker room.
Penny for the thoughts of Justin Schuller. Sydney have put their foot down in a big way in this second quarter.
And I think a lot of the problems on the defensive end has come from their offense.
Prather, good look for three. That's off the front. Shot clock and game clock with a couple of seconds difference. Ryan Gorgian calls for one shot.
25 points.
Yeah, we need the record. We need somebody to go check it out.
Cooks with ball in hand.
Can't guard me.
I think that's a pretty fair call.
That's fair, yep. Now, Xavier's worked on his game. I mean, I'm looking at his stroke. Even from the free throw line, he's still only shooting 60%, but you can just tell the mechanics look a whole lot better than what it did last year. We've already seen him hit a three. Like I said, I had him for my preseason pick for MVP, Jack, because he just can effortlessly get you a 21 and 10. And on the right day, he can get you 10 assists to go with it. So he's just super unique to this league. Too agile, too versatile.
Had a fantastic round two, Xavier Cooks, 22 and 12 in their loss to Illawarra, 22 and 6 against the Wildcats last Friday night in Perth. And well, his numbers are getting very, very nice tonight.
And not even in 30 minutes action. He doesn't need to be on the floor that long. That's how productive he is.
He takes care of both free throws.
Brian Gorgian aware he's got fouls to give. So he wants a foul without intentionally fouling. Oh dear.
And Harrison with a late bucket. Something for Brisbane to take away from this second quarter, but not much. They scored just 10 points in quarter number two.
It is, and it was the work from the three-point line was okay. 6 of 16, 37%, but the ease at which that they were able to transition into the offense has got to be a concern.
Let's get over to Derek Rucker.
Down here with Casey Prather. Casey, great start from you. Where did things kind of fall apart there in the first half for you guys?
Just defensively. I think, you know, when our shots weren't falling, we did a poor job of getting back and getting a stop.
Well, one thing we've seen about this team is you guys can come back from deficits. Where does it start?
Yeah, we fight. You know, it just started with, you know, understanding our assignments, erasing this halftime lead that they have, and just coming out and throwing the first punch.
Good luck in the second half.
Xavier absolutely having your way during that first half. How do you get the rest of your team going since you're the only person in double digits?
I mean, they're all going to get going. I trust my teammates, but it's a game of runs. We came out and threw the first punch, made some subs, and our intensity level dropped off a little bit. They went on a run, but we got the players to do it. It's got to figure it out.
You spoke about that run that they went on, but now you're up by 20 again. How do you keep the foot on the gas?
I think that's one thing this team needs to keep learning. We're a young team, a new team. All season we've gone on runs and let them come back in the game, so we've got to figure out how to put our foot in their throat and just finish them.
All right, good luck in the second.
Thank you.
20-point lead to the Sydney Kings at halftime. We've got a lot to talk about in the halftime show, which is coming up next in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
The big shots yellow, we've got James Irvine, Zach Skanes, Jaden Smith, Hugh Hilton, Spencer Sun and Santiago Cardenas. And on the blue team, we've got Isaac McGilvray, Robbie Lee, Hunter Lewis, David Bourne, Austin Lee and Edward Greenfield. What is happening out there? We got two games going. Oh, it's a bit of pinball action. Multi-ball. Johnny Dreyer is down courtside with George. Johnny, over to you.
Thanks, Adam. Down here courtside with George, who's part of the Big Shots community engagement. Mate, can you tell us a little bit about the program and a little bit about how families can get involved?
Well, we have our Belmont Saint club partnership with us today. We endorse the school club partners, so if you want to be involved, come join us. But holiday programs, school programs, we're all over the place across Brisbane, north side, south side. So come find us on our website, the Brisbane Bullets, to come involved.
That's right. So once again, if you want to be involved on the Big Shots program, head to our website, brisbanebullets.com.au, and look for that community link.
It's halftime at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre, and one-way traffic is the best way to describe that second quarter, except for that moment from Casey Bray. A little something from the Brisbane Bullets, but just 10 points in quarter number 2 to 25 of the Sydney Kings. Sees the home team trailing by 20 points at the main break.
Yeah, it's not good right now for the Brisbane Bullets. I like what Casey Prather said about how they got to come out and fight, but I would just maybe say, let's fight each other first. We got to fight each other first, fellas, because we got to establish a standard. Justin Schuller was speaking earlier in the season about how it's playoffs or it's a failure for us, and that's a good attitude to have. But if the players not going to go out there and live that and display that, then, it's just empty words. So I would like to see more fire from those guys.
Drewy, on the other side of the ledger, the Sydney Kings, particularly in that second quarter, they were just doing whatever they wanted, offensively and defensively.
Yeah, spot on, and it was a lot of one-way traffic. We thought after that little explosion that Sydney had at the start, Brisbane call a timeout and they actually hit the front. They go ahead 17-15 and we think, hang on, game on. But then Sydney went to another gear, and the other gear was bringing back a lot of the starters, and in particular Jalen Adams, get back on track and able to share the minutes around. But they're playing through Xavier Cooks. The matchups with those bigs out there, his ability to put the ball to the floor, and he has a knack of being in the right place at the right time, whether it's the O-boards, and when he starts knocking down the three like that, it's going to be a long, long night. But when there's a help, he gets to the right spot. I just think the method in which that they've come out and how they're going to guard, in particular this guy, Jalen Adams, he was just the conductor out there finding different people or creating shots for himself. But Xavier Cooks with the 18 points and the efficiency that he's been able to do it at, the energy and the way in which he can ignite the offensive transition is a real key. And
Damon, as we take a look at his Blackmore shot chart, you said it during the first half, they don't run anything for Xavier Cooks. They don't need to. He goes and finds his own possession.
You get players who always talk about where's my shots going to come from, what plays he going to run for me. Xavier doesn't need that. He's going to get the ball himself. He'll go get a rebound, go coast to coast. So unselfish, makes the right decisions. He can throw the pocket pass. He's actually the backup point guard. Sean Bruce has only played a couple of minutes. Xavier Cooks is the backup point guard for this team.
Derek Rucker, Ariana Prather at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. Wow, that thing really got out of control in the second quarter.
Well, I don't do any sugarcoating, so I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's absolutely ugly. Looking ugly for the Brisbane Bullets. What do you see, Derek?
Yeah, well, they just lost their way kind of early in that second quarter. The offense dried up after they made a good run to take the lead and get themselves going. But the problem was they turned the ball over early, and then it just became a serious problem throughout that half. 11 turnovers. James Bateman is a minus 29 in his 10 minutes on the court. Xavier Cooks is a plus 28 in 13 minutes. So that's kind of the spectrum that we're looking at. Sydney right now is showing you why they are so feared in this competition.
Absolutely, and the one thing that I don't understand is when you're playing against the Sydney Kings, one of the best teams in the league, it's really a statement game. As a player, you should be hyped, you should be excited, you should want to go out there and make a statement by winning this game. So if you're on the team, how do you get them back on track?
Yeah, well, I mean, especially given the occasion, returning here to Boondle is an emotionally charged game. This crowd is ready to erupt. You as a responsibility, as a player, you have a responsibility to make sure you give these spectators what they need, and that's effort.
Absolutely. Well, we'll see what happens in the second half. Back to you guys in the studio.
No sugarcoating it. I love it. 20-point lead to the Sydney Kings at halftime. Third quarter's up next on Saturday Night Hoops.
Well, it's an excellent feeling for all of us, from the fans, from the Brisbane Bullets. Thank you so much for joining us today. You're an absolute legend of the game, and go Bullets.
Basketball Australia prohibits the action of court-siding or data streaming live match information for any purpose by any individual or group of individuals without the express consent of Basketball Australia. Any person or persons suspected of court-siding will be asked to cease immediately. If the action continues, the person or persons will be asked to leave the venue immediately and will be refused entry to any future league matches at this and any other venue. The National Integrity Framework for Australian Basketball can be found at australia.basketball/integrity.
Johnny Drama here in the foyer of the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. Brand new venue, brand new merch. You can see all of these beautiful Brisbane Bullets fans lining up for all of our brand new, beautiful merch. You can see we've got training jerseys. Oh, what did you grab? What did you get yourself there, son? What did you grab? Oh, some nice shorts. They're the ones with your pockets. You strike me as a bucket hat man. Did you grab a bucket hat?
No, sorry, I didn't.
Well, you will be pleased to know that this year we have bucket hats, and we also have the big promotion for today is, if I hold it up the correct way, the brand new thing that we have for today is the Dry Times Rally Towel. Now, we're going to say that this is limited for today only, because once they are sold out, they are gone. All the VIPs on the court side are getting them, but you can get your one for, I think they're around $15 or $16. But you can bring this to every game, rally for the Brisbane Bullets, and today is our first home game against the Kings, tip off at 8 p.m.
Last season was a big learning year. It was awesome to have Bainesy being around me and teaching me the ropes a little bit before getting into, a bigger role this year. I take last year as a big teaching, and I'm excited to see what year 2 holds for me.
Met upstairs by Zakarsky.
Zakarski is having a block party all of his own.
It was sort of like the perfect storm to have Bainesy in one of his last years and having Tyrell, who's a Premier Big in this league as well. Practice days were my game days. Bainesy helped me in a mental capacity as well as a physical capacity. Having him around was a huge help, and I'm eternally grateful to him. When I found out that I had to play some big chunk of minutes, I had to say I was pretty happy that I got a chance to be out there, because I was itching to get out on the floor and show what I could do.
There he is! A smile as well, Rocco Zakarski's first points in the NBL.
I definitely, was nervous knowing that, now I was the backup. It had to be a step up from what I was expected to do.
Fotu on the drive. Here's Rocco.
But yeah, it was just awesome to be in that environment so early and get a taste of what it's like. I think my mental space is so much more clear of what I want to achieve this year and how I want to go about playing this year. The role is clear, I know what I'm expected to do, and yeah, I'm really excited to see what the season holds.
One of the brightest young talents in Australian basketball, and in fact, world basketball, Rocco Zakarski. The teenager with such a bright future. His team trails by 20 at halftime.
Well, I think that the question is he getting the opportunities? Are they playing through him when he's out there on the offensive end? He's got some work to do, of course, what he does on the defensive end, but I'm just not sure he's getting an opportunity to maximise his skills on the offensive end just yet.
No, that's the thing. Like, he's getting playing time when he gets a little bit, but like I said, what's the point of being 7'3" if all you're gonna do is just do dribble handoffs 23 feet away from the basket? Let this man get close to the basket, see what can happen. Maybe change the defense, play some zone, get up the floor. You got nothing. You literally got nothing to lose.
Would you try and get him involved in some pick and rolls and stuff like that, Damon, to get him into the game?
Absolutely, because if you get some lobs, if you get a guard, like we've seen just the other day, didn't we, Jack? Shea Illy throwing lobs to Marcus Lee. I'm sure that if you put the ball anywhere near the rim, he can go up there and get it.
Rich Norton starting in this third quarter. James Bateman coming off the bench. There's Prather. He's been the shining light for Brisbane, has 12 points.
That's because he's worried about what's going to happen when he gets home if he don't ball out.
Ariana doesn't sugarcoat.
Oh, Kelly LePepe with the spin move. Isaac White starts the second half as well, and we all know his aggression.
So this is a different lineup for Brisbane. Justin Schuler's obviously seen enough. Deng Adele and James Bateman not out there to start the third.
You know what? And fair enough. I mean, Bateman's averaging, well, he's not averaging anything at the moment. But Keandre Cook's averaging 21. He's got 2 points.
We ain't out there either.
No, you got to, I mean, you don't just leave guys out there if they're not performing. You go back to that Perth game when John really benched Keanu Pender. A few people say, oh, he's a superstar. We got to leave him on the floor, let him play himself into it. I'll say no. You had a whole half to do something, and you didn't. So now you got to sit, especially with a 21-point deficit.
White brings it back to 20. Saw a shot of Torrey Smith-Milner. Drew, he started in the first game of the season, played 19 minutes and had 10 points, played 2 minutes last Friday and hasn't played at all so far tonight. So does it tell us that Justin Schuler's still trying to search for some combinations to work?
100%. He's still trying to figure out the roles of some of the players on the team, and he'd be one of them as well. And, he's had an up and down career as in regards to a role where sometimes been a little bit more significant than others. Certainly last season, almost non-existent, and right now gets another opportunity. Josh Bannon coming back in would probably hurt his prospects.
Prather thought he was fouled, played through the contact.
That was some good offense, too. Got a little flex cut. Got Casey Prather, got him a long closeout. He attacks it. Gets up a nice mid-range shot and an offensive rebound. So that was good offensive execution.
Pepe is a beast.
He is. What was the most you ever bench press, Jury, in those Melbourne Tiger?
Whew.
those Melbourne Tiger weight sessions.
Yeah, no, Bradkey was always really strong, but this fella here, he looks like...
He asked you about you.
I was
Don't dodge the question.
I was actually better than I looked. I was right up there. I had some on the bench. I swear.
No.
I swear. I got better after my career because it just you start to focus a little bit more on it. But looks going to be deceiving.
Oh, they're very deceiving.
No, I had Cokes covered in the bench press category, but this fella here, my glory field days, that looks like a powerful unit.
A couple of minutes into the third quarter. The Kings are just doing whatever they like. And a foul on the Pepe. Might be his third.
It's so important for Brisbane. Like, if they're going to be who they want to be, like, regardless of the win or loss, however that pans out in the next, 18 minutes, the way they go about it from here is all about their heart. You need to be able to look at your teammate and know this is a guy I want to play with. This is a guy that I can be in the trenches with. So this last 18 minutes is huge.
Well, now for Isaac White, good look. Offensive rebound and put back in by Harrison. He's made a pretty good start to his NBL25 campaign, Tyrell Harrison. He's on a 2-year extension.
What do you think about the timing of that 2-year extension? I'm all for the 2-year extension. I'm all for it. But why does it happen, like, in season? You think things like this get sorted out in the offseason?
I think with a player like him, you're worried that another good season and the price may be a whole lot more expensive.
Qual. 6 points. Haven't seen a lot of Cam Oliver tonight. There he is. That snatched out of his hands by Tui. I guess they haven't really needed a lot from Cam Oliver. Steal by Harrison. 3-on-2 up ahead. He'll go to the line to shoot free throws.
Here's the Amy replay. Just catch and shoot. Got to be better. Defensive trans guarding the three-point line. As I said, the Sydney Kings so far in their first 3 games led the league on average in three-point field goal attempts. A little touch over 38 a game.
And this is where it's hard, Drew. We've all been on teams that's probably had leads like this when you just kind of know as a player, this game is over. Like, even though it's not over, you know that you can win, right? And then the sloppy habits creep in. Like Xavier Cook said at the halftime, he says we got to put our foot on their, on their head or neck or something, and really, beat them down.
Yeah.
And right now, you come out with a little bit of like this turnover, well, not quite a turnover, just a little bit sloppy, a little bit lackadaisical. Next thing you know, you're going to find yourself in the game, unless you give up easy transition threes to Bull Qual.
It's 3 of 6 now for Bull Qual. Derek Rucker, the Kings haven't let off yet.
Well, one of the difficult things also if Harrison gets a bunny inside, Damon, Brisbane don't have the ability talent-wise, I don't believe, to actually press up the court. They're not one of the more athletic teams in the competition. So pressing and trying to get back in the game could really open it up even worse. The team construction has probably failed in that regard.
And even beyond that, D, is that right now, sometimes just getting something where you're highly accountable. You're playing your man-to-man. This is our rules on the on-ball, but we want aggressive ball pressure and just getting back to some of the, trying to keep it more simple.
Yeah.
Rather than coming up with a trap, because Sydney, it's well organised right now, and they move the ball too well that if you don't get that steal, you're playing catch-up.
That looked like it was a zone, I think. I'm not quite sure. But something that, like, half court, maybe back it up to a 2-3, give him a different look. But I hear you, Jory. Some accountability is absolutely needed, no matter what defense you're going to play.
See, right there, Jalen, he waits, come and set a screen. There's no ball pressure. He's not forcing him to do anything. He waits for the screen, so it becomes highly reactive. Try and push him out of it. Don't let him accept the screen.
Tangerine timeout at 62-39 at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. As soon as we finish up tonight, all roads lead to John Cain Arena in Melbourne tomorrow as Melbourne United take on the Cairns Taipans, who have beaten Melbourne in 5 of their last 6 games. A fantastic record. And then Will Magnate will be out there tomorrow for the Jack Jumpers and the Wildcats. Wildcats trying to avoid going 2-0 for the week, 0-2 for the weekend.
It is, and I'm not sure if they get their personnel back, but that's going to be a big factor, and they're looking for a bounce-back game. But you know, I was away at the time, overseas, and heard Damon make some comments about Melbourne United, and thought, geez, Damon, I know he goes on these long marathons, and maybe he was a little fatigued and the blood wasn't quite circulating like it should. Have you had a chance to sort of reassess and rethink your prediction that they wouldn't make the top 6?
And you know, humans are very bad at making predictions. And I'm happy to be wrong, but I just thought...
Oh, you're not doubling down.
No. I just thought at the time they wasn't as talented as the teams they've had in the past. And I saw a world where other teams might leapfrog them. I had Adelaide in front of them. I had the Phoenix. So, but one thing about the Melbourne United is they're a system. They know how to play together. And what we saw them do in Perth yesterday was phenomenal.
Wow.
So I can't see how they miss out on the top 6 now, Drury. Can't see it.
I think that's a good one.
Oh, they were brilliant last night, Melbourne. And it was a performance that, I must admit, left more questions than answers about the Wildcats.
Yeah, Dylan Windler not playing. He's a good player, but is he that much of a difference in that team, not having him out? But they did a tremendous job on Bryce. Keanu was kind of quiet again, so yeah, you know, Perth's gonna have to have a look at themselves and bounce back.
Both those games coming up tomorrow. Harrison inside for Prather. Nice find and the finish. 16 of Brisbane's 41 points belong to Casey Prather, but it's too easy at the other end.
I was just about to say what good offense that was. Running the ball screen, and then having Casey Prather flash, get a layup, and before I could even formulate that thought, they give up an easy transition bucket. So you can't just feel that good about life, Drury, and be happy with your work.
And again, I think it gets back to Derek's point. I think on the made basket, they're trying to get into their extended trapping defense, and with that attempt, they just lose their way a little, and they just don't get back, and defensive transition goes begging.
Still 5 minutes left in this third quarter. Offensive foul on Adams. Little win for James Bateman.
I said initially at the start of the game, defense was where you can, if your offensive game ain't working, if it ain't flowing at the time, you want to focus on your D, take the pressure off yourself. But he had a couple turnovers to start the game, but something like that, draw a charge, hopefully that can spark something.
Bullets winless from their first 2 games. No such thing as an easy game here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. Dengadell unsuccessful. That is 1 of 14 now from long range for the Bullets. Oliver crashes the glass. No foul.
Looked like a lot of contact.
Bateman gets that to go.
Have a look here on the replay.
Oh, it was a foul. Oh, that's an almighty foul. But it's 5-on-4 if you're not going to get back to play D.
He was upset, and that's sort of some of the behaviour we've seen in the past where just not necessary. Next play, and straight away Brian Goorjian doesn't like it. And we spoke about holding people accountable. Now, I know he's got some foul issues. It's his second, but I think that's come and sit with me if you're going to complain to the officials and not get back.
Look at this.
Robertson down the middle. Took it straight at Sikorsky.
This is full court. This is 94 feet. Nobody stops the ball. This is a clinic on how to not play transition D. Here we go again.
A wide open look, Kawatnoi. That's short. Dell, scoreless, 0 of 5 from the field in this one. It's the first time we've seen Tyler Robertson here in the Hungry Jacks NBL. He's played some good minutes, 7 points, plus 11.
That looks good. And as I said, he's a long 5 years at 5 seasons at college basketball across 2 programs. Started out at Felix, his old alma mater at Eastern Washington, and then moved to Portland.
I think he studied a bit more than Felix, which wouldn't have been hard. Bateman forced into a tough look, won it back.
Okay. No longer 0 for Saturday. That's good. Just get 1 to go. The streak starts with 1.
Cooks checks the feet. That's his second, and he's happy to let the Bullets bench know about it.
I'm trying to tell you, it's a new and improved Drewy. It's not Drew, it's not Gaze-esque, but it is a big improvement.
At the very least, you got to stunt at him. You can't let him get his fingers right, put it in the seams, check his feet, and then shoot it. He's not that bad from the 3-point line.
Robertson catch and shoot. And there's not been a feature of Xavier Cook's game. He's got so many other assets, but it's never been one of them. As you said, Damon, if he starts knocking the threes down, then heaven help everyone else. Galloway, brilliant finish.
Well, Cooks is already up to the 21 points, and wow, they only got the 5 boards. Plus, hang on, 5 assists. So,
are we on watch?
I think not yet. A couple more assists before we put him on watch.
You got 2 teams playing for 2 different things, I see. The Sydney Kings are built to win a championship. They're trying to work out the rotations. They're trying to work out habits to make sure they don't get sloppy, because they're going to be playing some meaningful basketball if Tyler Robinson hits an easy runner. Whereas the Bullets...
Brisbane, please welcome to the court the Brisbane Bullets cheer squad.
That is a genuine spray that Justin Schuller has delivered his team. Tangerine timeout, 73-51. This is a standing timeout. We were going to jump into this timeout, but we can have a look at it, but we can't listen to it, and it's probably not a bad thing for the kids watching.
This will not be for family viewing, and fair enough, too.
Look at this.
Well, I think he's just disgusted at the ease at which the scoring, the defensive transition, and the ease at which they've been able to get to the paint. As I said, Robinson's not going to wow you with his athleticism, but he walked into that paint, and just, it was like, you know, when you have your first 10, 15 minutes, you're doing your shooting drills, getting warmed up at a practice session. It was almost as easy as that, and just the level of intensity, and no, not disruptive at all.
But I'll tell you what, if one of those guys' paychecks was late, they'd be upset. Like, earn your money, man. Some of us got to go to a real job.
73-51, Ariana, you were listening to Brian Goorjian.
Well, you guys said it best. Both teams seems like they're just playing for 2 different things. The Kings are visibly upset every single time the Bullets score. You would think that they were down by 20, and Xavier Cooks in that last huddle telling his team that they actually need to pick it up on defense. So again, that's just championship caliber mindset right there, talking to his team, making sure that they take advantage of every single play. Who cares if they're up by 20? They want it all.
Gotta respect that. That's why Xavier Cooks is the leader.
Well, that 27 points they had at halftime by the Brisbane Bullets was the lowest ever halftime score by Brisbane against the Kings. Wow. Got that. Previous lowest was 29, round 4, 2016-17 season at Kudos. Just some elite coaching to lock up Brisbane Bullets back then.
I've heard it all now. I've heard it all. A rare turnover from Sydney.
My man, Matt McQuaid. Good evening to you.
Oh, Matty.
He gave me that stat. So it's he'd be, and all the Kings fans be happy with the defense they're providing, and that's going to be the foundation for any team that wants to win a championship. That's a bare minimum. If you're not coming with that defensive pressure, then the probability of you being able to just rely on your offense to win a championship these days, it's almost impossible.
Noy almost picked the pocket of Zakowski. The big man's been called for the offensive foul.
These are habits. Like, okay, Rocco got a foul for laying a whole bunch of weight on the guy. So what? Just leave him on the floor. For mine, I'm going to play him the rest of this game. I don't care what happens. I'm going to get something out of him in this next 11 minutes.
Tui, quick release 3. Is it too late to ask Leroy Loggins to lace him up for the fourth quarter?
And Derek, you can take off that sweet-ass men's club blaze and get your ass out there, too.
I will pass.
All them jump shots you taking, man, every morning.
Well, I mean, you look at the shooting, they just can't shoot the ball effectively, and this has been a problem that's plagued Brisbane for years now, and I thought, looking at their preseason flow, that they would have corrected it, but we're back to where we were over the past few years.
1 of 14 from the three-point line.
Ouch.
You can have those nights, but I guess when it's in the context of what we're seeing here, it can sometimes extend beyond just having a bad shooting night.
Did you ever have one of those nights?
Many. We've all had them.
I think I might have had way more than you did.
Last minute of the third quarter. The margin was 20 at halftime, and that's where we sit right now heading into three-quarter time. Keandre Cook only has 2 points for the night off the back of 17 on Friday, trying to make something happen.
But it's just coming from individual play. You bring the ball down, see a lane, drive, throw yourself into the defense to try and draw a foul. And last season we saw some really good misdirection plays from the Bullets, and that had that good ball, good man movement, and you know, they weren't the most talented team, but they were able to use their sets and their system to create scoring opportunities. And
they also
what we've seen here, it's just been a lot of individual, just relying on individual skill.
They also had a 20-point scorer in Nathan Sobey last season, too, that could sometimes make things look better than what they really were. But even, I guess that was a 2-for-1 shot. But there will be no basketballs at training if I'm Justin Schuler the next training session, not one.
Those days are gone.
I'll see you at the track.
I'm not sure that's going to fix their problems.
Whistle against Bateman. What would the next training session look like if Damon Lowry was coaching this group?
Yeah, we're going to meet. It's going to be some Army boots there, some sponsored boots, some weight vests, some boxing gloves, and we're going to be on an oval somewhere all day. Because this isn't about skill. This is about heart. This is about intent, conviction, and nobody out there has shown any of that. So, yeah, we're going to have to take a spell from shooting layups and doing three-man weaves and all that kind of stuff.
I don't think it's quite as simple as that. I think there's a little bit more to it in regards to their system and their figuring out their roles and understanding some of their rules, both offensively and defensively. Certainly a bit of intensity is required, but right now, from what I've seen, particularly on the offensive end, their system seems to be a little convoluted and uncertain about how, when, and why you're going to create a shot.
The shot clock's been switched off. Heard Brian Gorgent call of no fouls. Great D from Tui. Brilliant work to force Bateman into a tough one. It's just the little things, the 1%ers in Alex Tui's game that we've seen the improvement, Damon, from last season.
Yeah, the maturity he's had in just an offseason. His body looks better. I think he's just more confident in himself, too. He knows he's on every team's radar. And it's just those little things, you know, mid-range jump shots, turnaround jump shots, block shots. He's got the confidence in himself to take big shots, too, but the guy's just a gamer.
.6 available to the Brisbane Bullets. And that just about sums it up. Three-quarter time at Boondall. It's Sydney who lead Brisbane 75-55 in the Hungry Jacks NBL.
Now you're a big guy, strong-looking dude. You play basketball? First time holding a basketball. Well, hopefully this is your first and most gracious time. If you can put that ball into that net right now, we're going to give you $1,000. How are you feeling? He's not very confident, but Brisbane, we can amp him up. Make some noise for Yanni! All right, Brisbane, count him down. 5, 4, 3. Oh. Yanni, unfortunately, no $1,000. Adam, that was vicious, bro. No $1,000 for you, but for everyone else, this is now going to jackpot to the next game. So make sure you're at the next home game. And all thanks to Carnival Cruise, we're now going to be giving away $2,000. All thanks to Yanni.
Fourth quarter time. We need to spark something on your feet. Everybody up, let's go. That's how we start the fourth quarter here. Get behind your team. We got 10 minutes to get it done.
Three-quarter time at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. The Sydney Kings enjoying themselves on Saturday Night Hoops. They lead Brisbane 75-55 for Qual. Cam Oliver knocking down threes. They're 10 of 26 from outside, and they lead by 20 points with a quarter remaining.
It's always good to get a win, but the Sydney Kings want to, it's a way that they have to win that's going to really please them. They gave up 28 points that quarter, and I know they wouldn't be happy about that because that's not how you win championships, by having quarters like that. So I'm expecting them to come out this quarter and really clamp down, and we'll see what Brisbane can do.
What do you try and get out of the last quarter, Drewy, if you're Brisbane?
Well, I think you've got to, as best you can, almost. Now I know you're trying to still win the game. You're trying to play for a miracle, but right now, just focus on how and which you're going to get better. What are you going to prioritise? What systems do you want to have a look at on the defensive end? These types of things, and just trying to get some effort, try and provide something for these fans that have come out on this very special occasion as they make a move to the Brisbane Entertainment Centre.
Offensive rebound by Bannett. This game of the season is they're going a little tough, just 4 points.
Yeah, not the comeback Josh was after, but good to get some games, some minutes into him, because we know how important he's going to be as the season goes on.
Pepe crashes the glass and helps it back in. 13 points to go with 3 rebounds. Make that 15 points for Lepepe. 15. Tui stole it away. The next star lays it up. There would have been some people, Damon, who would have raised their eyebrows, I'd imagine, in round 1 on the Sunday at Hoops Fest when the starting 5 for the Sydney Kings walked out there and Kelly Lepepe was on the floor instead of Cam Oliver, but we're seeing how it works.
And you could tell, see, that's something, you know, when coaches and teams say, oh, yeah, you know, we're working out our rotations. I'm thinking, well, shouldn't you been doing that in the preseason or in the offseason? Like, I know you need some games, I guess, to really have a proper look at it, but Brian is so experienced. He probably thought, I got this much talent. Somebody's got to be a role player. Yes, he could start Cam. That would be the easy thing to do, but how good would that be for the team? Oh, we got some...
Oh, no, we don't. Not yet. Not yet.
What?
I'm not sure the kids in the venue know. The home fans are hungry.
Come on, Tim.
They need a comfort eat after tonight.
And disappointed.
Yeah, no, back to Kelly, but Brian said, no, this is, Kelly can hold his own at the 5 spot. Nobody's gonna beat him up in the post. He's gonna do all those little intangible things, and he's a better scorer than he's given credit for, so it's a luxury to be able to bring Cam Oliver off the bench and still play Cam his starters minutes. That is a great call by Brian, but none of us saw that coming because we're not as good as Brian.
I think it's going to be an ongoing challenge for Brian when you've got all these players and you've got to try and find minutes for them. This is something that's going to be there the entire season. And like I said, when I was in Singapore, I saw Unicaja play, the Spanish team. They won the regular season last year in Spain. Not one player on their team averaged more than 20 minutes a game. It was, and to see the way in which the play and the beauty in their offense, and it just shows that you can do it. I mean, a lot of times we talk about wanting to play more, have your point guard out there more, like you were talking about a little earlier, but there's teams throughout the world that have shown how you can go really deep and still find a way to be successful.
Cooks, that's 21. Lepepe left open for 3.
Trying to tell you. Hey, Kelly, don't forget to tell everybody, man, when I had you at the NITP under 18s, and I said, man, you got to start shooting threes if you want to take this game serious.
Lepepe's 2 of 3 from outside. Brisbane are 1 of 17 now. Cooks piles on the paint.
Now it's just getting really sloppy, if it wasn't already. Pepe, very nice. Not a bad stroke from the right ear. Normally you want to get that a little bit more centered, but elbow and the extension all looks pretty good.
85-56, Saturday Night Hoops, Hungry Jacks NBL.
3-pointer celebration cam. So what I want you to do is look up at the big screen, and when you
7 minutes 41 left. It could be a very long 7 minutes for the Bullets.
Yeah, they got to try to take out. There's no moral victories, but you got to have something to hang your hat on. And I'm not one to advocate violence, Jack. but there, I'm telling you, these guys need to have a serious look at themselves when they get in this locker room, because yes, everybody can say all the right things, but if you're going to go out there and do the opposite, then you don't have any integrity as a player, as a teammate. So they've all let each other down. So how do we get this back? So I'm happy to bring the basketballs back, but we got to fight first, Jack.
17 points for Casey Prather. He's their leading scorer, but the Bullets are a long way off. Great to have your company at the Brisbane Entertainment Centre. The Bullets and the Kings, and Xavier Cooks with 23 points. Just doing whatever he chooses.
Yep, it's just too easy for him at the moment, and this is when things can get sloppy. Complacency can set in when the comfort zone, when the comfort levels get high. But Brian's he's got that much depth. If anybody takes their foot off, he's got that much depth. He can put anybody in.
Speaking of that, Cam Oliver at the scorer's table ready to come back in.
You know what else too, Jack? Guys are going to have to get used to some DNPs in low minutes. Because in the championship photo, you can't tell who started and who came off the bench. Everybody's showing 32 teeth in that photo.
That is true.
It's a lot of teeth.
But having said that, and this is the challenge that you face when it's a professional game, some of those wallets are going to be fuller than others.
As you would well know.
No, unfortunately not. But everyone looking to get their paper.
Liafa still cannot hit. No.
And Isaiah Liafa was shooting the lights out in the blitz. The blitz just could be almost like that curse on the NBA 2K. Whoever gets to cover as Mitch Norton gets himself a bucket.
Back to 25. Derek Rucker courtside.
Well, if the Bullets are looking for any positive signs on the defensive end, it's got to happen right away. But right now, every Kings shot taken is so easy. It's created easily. And semi-contested to no contest at all. That's defensive goaltend. But Justin Schuller would be highly disappointed with this defensive performance. He came here to Brisbane based upon his defensive intel, and right now we're just not seeing it. I don't know if it's a scheme thing, Andrew, or is it a talent thing?
But it's a combination of both. I think right now you almost got to see this as an aberration, and they're not this bad. And sometimes, like we spoke about in the first half, it's your offense that creates a lot of problems for your defense. Not always, but they're 1 of 18 from the three-point line. Now that's
hard to do.
And you're shooting at 34%. So that puts a hell of a lot of pressure on your defense, and against a team that's shown that they can be explosive on the offensive end.
But they're talking about the uncontested things that are just basic basketball.
Just ball pressure.
You know, getting back on defense, you know, finding shooters, just finding your man. Those are the basics. They shouldn't be having those conversations to this degree right now.
And sometimes, though, it takes a performance like this, it can really spark a team into an adjustment quick. You get through, you win it, you know, you have a loss by 7 or 8, and you go, things are on track. What this has done is exposed the Brisbane Bullets on the defensive end to where you make an adjustment quickly or you perish.
Cook's fouled, and that's going to be hard to reconcile when Justin Schuller spoke to Derek and Ariana pre-game and said the priority tonight will be defense.
Yep, that's the priority, but like they're not, like as Derek is alluding to, the talent. Do you have the talent to be able to play the defense that you want? Or are you going to have to junk it up?
They have better talent. There's the great Leroy. They have better talent than what is being displayed here tonight. They are a much better defensive team and offensive team than we're seeing. It's one of those games, but still, is it enough to compete with the best team? That seems like it's a fair way off right now.
James Bateman sits down. You have to wonder what his future looks like. Some decisions to be made for Brisbane. 3 of 12 tonight. Isaac White misses a bunny.
I mean, this is professional sports, Jack. We can't shy away, you know, from what we're seeing. Now, obviously, everybody here in this league can play basketball. And yes, you're going to have some. We watched Bryce Cotton have a shocker yesterday. But guys still need to be held accountable, and guys are still open for criticism, for evaluation.
Well, here's what's to come for Brisbane. They will play Southeast Melbourne Phoenix next Saturday night in Melbourne. Two teams. Well, there's going to be a winner out of it.
And a loser.
And the loser's going to be a big loser from that game. New Zealand and Tasmania in their immediate future as well.
Shout out to the legend, Trevor Gleeson. He had a big day today. Trevor Gleeson His Chiba Jets had an overtime win in Japan.
Have we lost you? You're checking overseas scores, with 4:58 left. Have you departed?
Well, the reason why I mention it, because I did see the scores, and gee, they flooded with NBL guys. You look at Trevor Gleason's team. They got John Mooney, who he'd be very familiar with, DJ Ho, Chris Smith, all being NBL, and they got the win against DJ Nubel's team, who had 25 on Trev. Come on, Trev, what are you doing with your D? You know DJ Nubel and what he did. Weren't able to lock him up, but it's intriguing when you see all the talent that the NBL has produced and has gone on to other places.
Norton drives, can't score. Any other overseas score updates while we've got you?
What's happening in Liga Endesa?
Where do you want to know?
The Spanish league. What's going on with the Liga Endesa?
Well, Unicaja last week, they had a huge win over Real Madrid, who we all know how tough they are. So there's some strange things happening. Early stages of what we're seeing over in Europe.
We can do junior scores as well, and this can be like a Saturday night wrap.
Well, based on what we're seeing here, it might be more interesting. One of those games, and it's just early days of the season. And like I said, a jolt like this can sometimes be better for you than just coming away with an honourable 9-point loss, and it camouflages some of those things that you really got to knuckle down on. And it's harsh, and it takes a lot to test your character and the work ethic you've got to do to figure out a way out of it, but it can be a blessing in disguise. Can be, not always, can be.
Oliver walks it into the paint. Puts that back to 25 points.
What do you reckon Patrick Union Jr. is going to say to his dad? His dad calls him and says, how'd the game go tonight, son? Rocco! Rocco! Trey ball, Drewy. He's skilled.
He is, and it's good to see, and he shows the versatility, but that's not going to be his bread and butter.
Run something for him right now.
It's nice to see that it's in his arsenal, though.
Yeah, it is.
Haven't seen him shoot a lot of it.
Pull!
White inside.
That's one thing young Rocco's got to learn. When you hit a 3-ball, you do not turn down the next one if you're open. It's okay, it'll come.
3 minutes 15 left here. Sydney Kings take on the Adelaide 36ers in Adelaide next Friday night, and all of a sudden, Drewy, the 36ers have got a bit of a full head of steam, 2-0 for the weekend.
My word, and that game today we saw before this one, to me, that's the best game we've seen all season. Entertaining, good scoring, getting up and down, highly intense, and a good close finish. And Adelaide showing a lot of character.
And we're really starting to see Kendrick Davis get to work now.
Hey, Derek, where do you got Kendrick Davis ranked in your guards for the season so far in the league?
Well, he came in with a strong reputation, and I liked what I saw from him at the Blitz as the Kings try and go party time here in Brisbane. But Davis is finding his way, and I said several times that I thought in that game against Sydney in the second half, you could see him gaining in confidence, and now he's found his groove. And I think that's what the Bullets are hoping to get from James Bateman. Now it's hard to find your groove, and you need some things that go your way, but it's vital as a point guard in this league, as an import, you must get numbers and have impact on games.
100%. I like the way Kendrick and DJ, 2 scoring guards. It takes a while, but I can see in the last game that it was almost like a you go, I go, you go, I go. But today, against the Hawks, it just looked way more, it was way smoother. And the more they play together, and I feel like too, Jack, they got their rotations already sorted. It's like these are starting 5, Latchy coming off the bench, Jason Gadee, you coming off the bench. You know, we might raffle that 8th spot. That could be anybody on any given night. but I feel like they're already kind of locked into their rotations.
He's coaching well early on, Mike Wells. We're seeing that very quickly, that he knows what he's doing, and
he's got some good tools to work with.
He does.
And Matty Weston's done a good job of putting together a real talented roster.
Still with Jarrell Martin to come back as well at some stage.
That's going to be interesting to see what they do when that decision needs to be made.
Kelly LePepe, Jalen Adams.
Kelly
Will Qual with the feet up.
22 points, 9 of 13, if you don't mind. And just efficient.
You going to the press conference, Kelly?
Tui. The shot clock down to 10. Bruce catch and shoot. We've seen a lot of the skipper.
We played
the season.
He came in that first quarter when they had a 10, 12-point lead, and it almost evaporated within a couple of minutes. And he didn't see much action after that.
Nah.
And now he's back in. Again, that can just be one of those nights, and he's a veteran. Wouldn't phase him in the slightest.
Gordon said it's not a Sean Bruce issue. It's a me issue right now, but you always know what you're going to get from Sean.
Rocco put that one out of there. Bateman gets one to stick.
Well, they're going to make the scoreboard look a whole lot more respectable, and it's not going to be a true indication of the margin, but at least you get a little something in these last couple of minutes to generate a bit of confidence individually for some of these players. Cook up to 10 points. Rocco's got the 11.
Would you change the starting 5 next week, Drury, if you shoot it?
No, that's
too early? What do you think?
You're gonna have to. I think he's still figuring out, so probably he will.
I can't believe I'm saying this. It's an 11-point game. Talk about positivity for Brisbane to finish. I'm not sure Ryan Gordon will be feeling the same way.
Not at all.
Takes a bit of the gloss off what otherwise has been a dominant night by the Sydney Kings.
Scored the last 14 points of the game, Brisbane. Tyler Robertson has done some nice things in his NBL debut.
Let's not forget percentages, because they've given up close to it. What was their highest, Jack? What were they up?
They were up by 27.
And it could have been a
29, sorry.
A 29, it could have been way more. And when there's a high probability at that pointy end, you're going to be tied, and it comes down to percentages. It's little moments like these that you might look back on and think, if only.
Good call, yep.
All smiles on the Sydney bench.
Thought we might have got some Spurgeon music, but he had to sit this one out.
No Spurgeon sightings. Start of the season. Smith-Milner coming in late.
Get a first push. First. White. 7. Pushing the rebound. Rod is 2. Pull on the line.
You like that hairstyle?
I probably couldn't pull it off, but if you built like that, it probably works.
Imagine if they have the prospect of getting this down to a single-digit L.
Brian's got standards. They got way bigger fish to fry, and they lift the foot off the gas, and it's hard to play in a game that you already know is won. It's just difficult. It's human nature to just relax.
This is a bit beyond just relaxing. It's sloppy.
16-0 run from Brisbane. There'll be some Brisbane supporters probably wondering, where was this earlier on?
Mind you, in that run, there's had a bit of different personnel on the floor.
Tui with a late look. Sydney big winners tonight. The scoreboard not telling the true story. because the real story was the Sydney Kings were far too good for the Brisbane Bullets in their return to Boondall. 91-82, the final score.
Yep, the scoreboard's going to flatter them, but they all know what happened. That was a beatdown, and they got some serious things to address on the both ends of the floor. The good thing is it's only the third game of the season, and they don't hand out playoff spots this early in the season. So as we look at Zave Cook's unanimous, although Kelly LePepe could have probably put his hand up for that one, but now Zave was awesome today. Foot Locker player of the game. A very easy day at the office for Zave.
Excellent performance. He's just picked up from where he left off 2 seasons ago when we last saw him here in the Hungry Jacks NBL, winning the MVP.
And how real is that three-point shot going to be? Now, they were inviting him to take it tonight, and he's shown that capability. If he's that wide open, he can knock it down. And around the rim, that's what he's renowned for. He's just a vacuum on the glass. And it's that three ball we're talking about. The stroke's not terrible.
Yeah.
And maybe that's that time over in the NBA, knowing that if you wanted to get to that level, stretch the floor, they would have put them hours into him trying to get into that, because it's almost essential these days for someone of his size to be able to shoot that three ball. And looks like it might be becoming part of the repertoire.
I like the fact when he's already been an MVP without a three-point shot. So he could just rest on his laurels, but he's not that kind of guy. He's like, I got holes in my game. I got some deficiencies. I want to fix those.
Ariana Prather, courtside.
Well, you told me before the game that you wanted to be known as a beast, and a beast is exactly what you look like tonight. 22 points and the win on the road. What do you make of your performance tonight?
Oh, it was good. The guys were finding me and the shots were dropping, but it was a good overall performance by the team, so yeah.
You know, I have to ask the obvious. You guys were up by about 27 points at one point. Obviously, the foot came off the gas, only won by single digits. What learning lessons do you take from tonight into the next round?
Any lead is like, doesn't really matter. Like even coming into the second half, we're like the last game, Tasmania almost came back. They were like 20-something points down. So yeah, we've got to work on that for sure.
Well, one thing I can say about your guys' team is you guys can obviously have that championship mentality. When you were up by 27 points, you guys were still mad every single time you did something wrong on defense. Talk about the mentality and the fight that this team has.
Yeah, I mean, that's the kind of mentality we need if we want to win a championship. So, yeah, we can't take our foot off the gas or nothing like that. And we've got guys holding each other accountable, so that's good.
Great job tonight.
Thank you.
With this star-studded Sydney Kings lineup that was assembled, all of the big names attracted all of the attention pre-season, Damon. This guy right here might be the diamond in the rough.
Absolutely. Nobody had Kelly LePepe on the bingo card as having this kind of impact. He played college basketball all at Marymount. He's not like he just was nowhere. He's already played at a good level in America. So he comes here, he's a fully grown man. He understands the game and how to play. And he's a role player. He knows who he is as a player. He's not going to try to get out of his lane. But yeah, Brian found a nice diamond in the rough with that one.
So a remarkable night for the Brisbane organisation to be back at Boondall. Unfortunately, it won't be a winning night for them. Sydney come away with a W, 91-82 in the Hungry Jacks NBL.